I want to welcome you and thank you for the opportunity to deliver the word of the Lord for 2017 in the area of governments, the U.S. and Israel. The Lord gave me three specific areas to look into and to pray into. One of them was in the area that we've talked about before, and that's the area of sheep and goats being separated. This is a year of polarization when it comes to the sheep and the goat nations. You're going to see a lot more of that alignment happening. I also saw for the nation and for the continent of Africa that there will be a very strong polarization of nations within the continent of Africa, and very specifically from Middle Africa down through Southern Africa. And there are going to be some countries that are really going to begin to pop to the surface and align with the word of the Lord. And we're going to see some remarkable things begin to happen in those particular countries. Also within the United States and through our relationship with Israel, there is a cementing coming of that and a reestablishing and a reaffirming. And as a result of that, that will be the trigger to shift the nations through the sheep and the goat alignments that are going to happen over the course of this year. I also saw the Lord really opening up from a nation standpoint. There were going to be nations that are really going to pop to the surface that are going to see a whole new area of resources. You're going to hear a lot more about resources coming to the surface. You're also going to hear a lot more about corruption being exposed at the government levels throughout the world. So let's just begin to see the Lord's words in those areas. And first for the alignment of the sheep and the goat nations, I felt the Lord saying that there is going to be a real polarization that's going to begin to happen. You're going to begin to see nations that as they take the side of righteousness and as they begin to come out way more, there are several nations, I saw even nations in Asia that want to align with God's purposes for their nation, and they're going to become very vocal about it. In the years past, it's been more of an underground kind of thing. You're going to start to see the nation of Singapore, start to see even the nation of Australia. You're starting to see even, I saw there was even Thailand was going to make a significant shift this year, one that has never been seen before, where they're going to align themselves with the word of the Lord. And you're going to hear more about the word of the Lord having input at a government level throughout the nations. Russia is still going to be very highlighted. The Lord said Russia is teetering in the balance, and that I have chastised Russia, and that Russia is going to have to make a decision this year as to which way they're going to align. But the Lord says once they make that decision, things will polarize very, very quickly. So see Russia as the key in shifting alignments. Interestingly, China is going to have much more of an alignment of righteousness than we've ever seen before. But there's also going to be a faction within the Chinese government that is going to really kick against that. And there's going to be a lot of internal strife in the nation of China this year around that polarization. You're going to begin to hear more about the word of the Lord in China than we've ever heard before. And there's going to be opportunities and doorways for China to reach out in a way that we've never seen them reach out before. So watch Russia and China and which way each one polarizes, and you'll begin to see nations aligning not around the U.S. but around Russia and China and the direction that they go. As far as Africa goes, I saw there three nations, specifically Benin and Malawi, were going to be nations that really stepped forward and aligned themselves with the word of the Lord. And as a result, very quickly after that very public alignment, even statements of we are a nation that stands by biblical principles, you're going to see resources beginning to be uncovered. I saw a wealth of even a new deposit of gold, a new deposit of other trace minerals that have high value in the upcoming tech world that are going to be uncovered in those nations. And there's a real investment group that is looking and will align themselves with those nations, and you'll begin to see those nations reap the benefits of that new alignment. South Africa is poised this year to begin to again see a harvest of some of the seeds that have been planted in South Africa, as well as even Zimbabwe. I saw Zimbabwe really making a shift this year and opening up their doorway where things have been closed and even cut off in the past. We also saw, as the Lord was beginning to speak, I saw the U.S. and Israel going back and forth, but they're becoming a new economic partnership between U.S. and Israel that was going to be much more public than even we've seen in the past. Even in the years when Israel was always a strong ally, we're going to see a whole new level of economic benefit and economic synergy between the U.S. and Israel. Look for joint ventures with large organizations, large corporations, and joint ventures with the government and corporations that are going to bring to the forefront some really groundbreaking technology discoveries and groundbreaking technology breakthroughs. Even in the area of cancer, there's some new breakthroughs that are going to be released. I even saw that in the U.S., there are three very, very prominent organizations, companies that are going to really rise up because of new discovery, new technology, new innovation, and that they are going to really shift the balance of some of the trade issues that have been in the past, some of the old trade partnerships that have been in the past. I saw NAFTA. The incoming administration has talked about restructuring NAFTA, but I saw Canada, the U.S., and Mexico creating a new alignment and a new economic synergy, and there even being a think tank developed with those three nations leading the way, and all three nations coming to a different kind of relationship and partnership that would benefit economically, and Mexico beginning to step forward and really address the drug trade and the drug reputation and the level of corruption, but asking for outside assistance in doing so, and in that respect, opening the door for a different kind of economic development and relationship in that arena. So this is a year that a lot of old mindsets, a lot of old expectations are going to be disrupted. And the Lord says they're all good. They're all good. And when you start to see things look unstable, instead of getting nervous about it, get excited, because the Lord is destabilizing some of the old things that need to be destabilized, and quickly seeing God having companies and individuals waiting in the wings to step into the vacuum and really reestablish the order of God and the government of God in some of those new kinds of relationships. I also saw North Korea this year really beginning to really fade almost in power and in noise, if you will. And we're going to start hearing of things where God has been touching and revealing in North Korea even, and that kind of arena starting to open up. So this year is an exciting year on God's agenda for the nations, and God has been doing work underground and doing work behind the scenes, and we're going to start to see the first shoots of some of that work that God has been doing across the nations, not just around the world, but also here in the U.S. The Lord says this is a year to be encouraged, that this is not a surprise. The direction that things have gone, it's not a surprise to me, and I have people and opportunities prepared, and you're going to see that when I begin to rain on the harvest, we typically think of harvest as being just a harvest of souls, but the Lord says when a harvest of souls begins to come in, there is also a harvest that takes place in the businesses and in the governments around the nations, and you're going to see that harvest begin to spring forth and new life showing up in areas where there has been none before. So I'd like for us to make some declarations as we go into this year of 2017. If you will, stand with me and let us repeat those declarations as we go.